What is going on, guys? Chip here. Welcome back to another Pokemon TCG video, where today I'm joined by a very special guest coming off of his top 8 finish this past weekend in Charlotte. We have Kyle Sabelhaus. How is it going, Kyle? How you doing, man?
Hey, doing well.
Congratulations, first and foremost, on the top 8, and your brother as well making it into top 8 and ending up winning the tournament. That must be pretty cool to, be able to share a top 8 with your brother.
Yeah, I heard he did okay too. So.
Have you guys ever top 8'd the same tournament, like the same regionals before? I'm sure, like, you guys have been playing so long, it has to have happened at some point, right?
I feel like it must have happened at some point. I know we've met in like the finals of a state championship before, so we've definitely had some big stakes in those tournaments.
Sure. Well, you guys may recognize Kyle from, not from playing, but from the casting table. He is one of the casters for the Pokemon company. He does the internationals, he does the regionals when they used to do regionals, but now he gets to play in regionals and, does pretty well at them whenever he does, just finishing as the first seed heading into day 2 in St. Louis, ending up top 16 there, and then making it into top 8 with the same deck, the Zoroark Gardevoir deck. We'll talk about his deck, his choice here, and the specific list in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to give Kyle a chance to introduce himself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you play now, and a little bit of your background in the Pokemon trading card game.
Cool. Okay. So my brother and I started playing when we moved to Florida. We moved to Florida when I was around like 12 years old. And we got into the whole game because when we were unpacking all our stuff, a neighbor kid helped us unpack, and he's like, "Oh, you guys have Pokemon cards? That's so cool. We should go to the league." And I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." And then we went to it, and then we got to the Worlds. Ended up being in Orlando like in 2004, and we were like, "All right, we'll check it out." And then we were hooked, and we just started playing, and so apparently we had a knack for it, so we just kept on going. I've lived on the East Coast almost my whole life. We moved to South Carolina. We played there. I went to college in Maryland. We played there. Went back to South Carolina, played a little more. And now I live in Indiana, and my neighbor's Michael Pramwat. So I get to play a lot of Pokemon, and it's really fun.
Awesome, man. That's great. Really cool to see like such a long history in the game, and to see how involved you've been with the community over the years, and now you get to kind of wear two hats, both as a player and as a caster. You want to talk about that a little bit, about the contrast of being someone who played for so long and flipping it over to the other side of the table and becoming a official caster for the Pokemon company?
Yeah, so I was playing really competitively early in my career, and I was finding a lot of success at like the mid-level events, so state championships and top cutting regionals and stuff. But obviously, prize incentive wasn't what it is now.
Sure.
There was like a dark age for me around 2015, 2016, where I was still doing well, but I wasn't having any fun, and I stopped in like, I think it was the fall of 2016, where I was slowing down going to events, and my brother ends up talking to Puka, and he's like, "Hey, is he interested in commentating?" And Ryan just answered it for me. He's like, "Yes, call him." So I got a call like the next week, and they started getting me out to start doing events, and we had already been doing like doing our own channel, and I had been doing some commentary for some channels like On the Bubble and stuff. Whenever I didn't make cut in an event, I would just sit there and solo cast for 5 hours and have the time of my life. So it was really like a dream come true to be able to do that. And it's gotten to a point right now where I watch people play and I'm like, I could do that better. Let me try that. So I get out there now. I want to give it a shot. So it's fun that I get to jump in there, and actually watching myself on stream playing has been really interesting for me, because I'm like, I know how it feels now. So a little humbler.
It's kind of funny how it's all come, like, at first it came like full circle, and then it feels like the circle's like gone back around again almost.
Yeah. Another circle lapsed over it.
Oh, very cool. So I want to shift gears a little bit. We want to talk about the Zoroark Gardevoir deck that you've played to these past 2 regionals and had very good success with at both. And this is a deck that really got popular after Tord won the Australian International, or Oceania International Championships. Is this a deck that was on your radar prior to that tournament, or did you see Tord play it and you were like, man, that deck is really good, I'm going to play it?
Technically, it was on my radar before the tournament because Jesper told it to me on Thursday. So, so if it wasn't for that, then no, I would have been clueless and I would have been shocked when we were doing all the casting. But I actually was trying to hint at it before we started the internationals. I'm like, guys, this is gonna sneak up and it's gonna beat everyone up, so be careful. Like, know this deck. And they're like, whatever. And then it started destroying, and I'm like, I told you. But immediately, just when we were starting to talk about the list and everything with all the players, some things stood out to me that felt weird. I was looking at like Mallow and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if this is really going to work. And then I started testing it, and the deck just works so well. And then just seeing great players like Tord playing it, and there were so many good people there, and they just did so well with it, and I'm like, I want to see if I can do that too.
Nice. And you did, just the following weekend, take it to St. Louis, and, like I said at the beginning, finished as the first seed, ended up in the top 16, so it obviously worked out pretty well for you at that tournament. I know you were probably a little disappointed to not make it into the top 8 at that one, but you came back with a vengeance in Charlotte, and you got into the top 8, so... And if I'm correct, you didn't change your list at all between St. Louis and Charlotte. Is that right?
Right. Yeah. I stuck with 3 field blower. The last field blower was the one I was kind of iffy about, and okay. I couldn't convince Michael Pramlott off of it. He changed it to a rescue stretcher, and I couldn't be mad at him. I'm like, it's fine. I don't really know what to do with that spot either.
So is there, you talk about the rescue stretcher, is that a card you kind of wish you had in the deck at any point, or are there other cards that you might have considered as well as maybe like 61st, 62nd cards whenever you were building this list?
Yeah, a lot of people ask me about double Gallade, because there's a list that came out and just like focuses more on the Gallade. I can understand where that comes from, but you don't really need 2, so the rescue stretcher kind of works as that second one. It's not like we're playing like it's going to be prized every game or something like that. And I got asked a lot about Timer Ball. I'm not lucky, so I don't do that stuff.
Yeah, Timer Ball, I think a lot of people talked about. Eva Soda is probably the safer route, but Timer Ball, when it works, is definitely pretty strong. I
played a mirror. I'll hint at one of my matches, and he double Timer Ball and got Candy Gallade Zorak on me, and I'm just like, oh, that's really good.
But then it probably, at some point, earlier in the tournament, he probably went Timer Ball double tails and didn't set up and lost. So it's kind of that, that 50-50 of what you.
It's gonna have to get you sometime.
Yeah, exactly. All right, cool. Well, we've talked about the deck a little bit. We've talked about the list. We're gonna shift gears here into what the tournament looked like for you. So you want to run us through what day? All right, before we jump into day one, sorry, let me backpedal a little bit here. Were you basically totally set on this deck between Collinsville and Charlotte, or were there other decks that you were considering for this tournament?
I considered nothing else. Usually I consider a lot of decks, and I'll do a lot of testing. And of course my wife she used to be a really good player too, so she's still got a little bit of talent left in those bones, and I rattle the cage and try to get some good matches out of her. She only wants to play Zoropod, so I know that matchup inside and out now. Yeah. But that matchup's pretty good for me. So sure. We didn't do much testing. We were like, you're going to play this, I'm going to play Guardy again, and we'll just see how it goes.
Nice. All right, well, cool. It worked out, obviously, being set on a deck. And, you were first seed in St. Louis, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We'll take it again and try it in the same format in Charlotte. And you want to run us through what day one of that tournament looked like for you?
Yeah, well, to start... We had a 9-hour drive, and we got there at 2 a.m. and had a nice little bit of strep throat going in there. So I'm on all sorts of medication for this whole weekend. So if my memory's a little fuzzy, just blame the drugs. But we started off. I started off pretty hot, 3-0. I had the round 3 was the match where I played against the other Gallade player, and he had 2 Gallades, he had Timer Ball, and his list was very aggressive, is the word I'll use there, I guess. He was getting a lot of big knockouts really early, really nice setups, and I was able to take the game 1 win because I set up a Gardevoir, and got 3 energy on it and knocked out a Gallade, and he didn't have a return answer for it because he had already gone for double Gallade real early, so he didn't have any room for a Gardevoir, and I was able to just use my max potion and manipulate damage output, and I got myself in a really good position. I scooped game 2 because it was terrible, and then game 3, we're playing down to time. We're running really low. He's playing super fast. I end him down to 2, and he has 1 trade with his Zoroark. He rips double puzzle, gets excited, plays it down, gets Candy Gallade, puts it down, and realizes he doesn't have a supporter for the turn.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, okay, we're good, boys. So I snuck out of that one. I did not deserve that win, but we'll take it. Following that, I played against a lot of Glaceon. I played against Steve Guthrie, and he pretty solidly beat me up. I did not get to use any of my my trades game 2 or 3, and it was sad. I'm like, all right, I'll just avoid Glaceon because I don't want to see that ever again. I sit down at the table for my next round. The guy's like, hey, have you played against anything weird? I'm like, yeah, I just lost to Glaceon, and he just didn't say anything to me. And I'm like, that can't be good, right? He flips over Eevee, Zoroark, and I'm like, no, what is this?
Oh gosh.
So we start playing, and we get a nice game 1 and 2. Game 3 rolls in. He starts Eevee. He searches out with an energy, gets his Glaceon, but he searched the deck for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, something's wrong. He Ultra Balls, throws away 2 cards, and he's like, Eevee. And I'm like, what? Okay, and he passes. And I'm like, okay. And then I start attacking into the Glaceon, hit it for 100. And next turn, I hit it for 100 and knock it out. And he's like, yeah, all 3 Tapu Leles were prized, you win. I'm like, let's go.
Oh, man.
So, super, super lucky. To continue on with my path of karma and justice, I sit down for my next round. It's the round 7 where we sat there for 55 minutes and stared at our opponents because Ryan and Igor don't know how to sign a match slip properly. Thanks for that. They're really great friends. So I'm talking to my opponent. He's a super nice guy. He's playing Zoropod, and we're both laughing because we're sitting there with a Mew start. We both have Mew, and we know that this is going to be the worst game ever. And I don't even have I have nothing except for an Ultra Ball in my hand. I have no supporter. And I'm like, all right, at least we're gonna get Bridget. We'll be fine. I draw. I play my Ultra Ball. I throw away 2 cards, and I priced all 3 Tapu Lele. I'm like, how? So
that's just a little bit of justice for your opponent the previous round. Yeah, it was
terrible. I'm like, no, immediate. Like, it was the very next game that I played. And they made me sit there for an hour thinking, all right, this bridge is going to be nice. We're going to get rolling.
So you sat there for an hour, and just to your left, there were all 3 Tapu Leles right there in your prizes.
Yeah, they were just sitting there. They were like, dude, you don't even know. This is going to be so evil. So I grab a Zaru and I pass, and he looks at me like I'm a fool. And I'm like, yep, it's that bad.
He's like, how is this guy doing this well in round 7? He didn't even know to get Tapu Lele? Like,
right? It was pretty sad. Yeah. Natalie was sitting next to me, and she started laughing at me afterwards, so it's all good. We played a 40-minute game that game 1, and I won.
Oh,
I don't know how. It was wild. I parallel city'd myself. I max potioned. I twilighted when I ran him out of all of his energy. He had 1 energy left in his deck, I think. He ran out of so many resources in that game too, or in that first game.
Yep.
And I twilighted, got all my stuff back, and I got him in an unwinnable position. And then we started playing game 2, and there just wasn't enough time. But it looked like I was going to win that one also. So crazy game. I should have probably scooped and tried to like do something else. But I worked my butt off for that win. I'll take it.
Man.
So I'm 6-1 at that point. I have my winning in against Edwin, and he is playing the Buzzwole Lycanroc with the Mew, which is really bad for me because Mew, when it gets to Jet Punch or Ralts, is mean because I play the Psychic ones.
Yeah.
I don't play the Fairy ones because I don't want to get knocked up by Registeels, and then I realized that Mew does it, and that's not good. So I might have to reconsider my my Ralts choice soon. As much as I love smacking Buzzwoles for 100 with a choice band.
That's a good point, yeah.
So it was ugly. Our first game was hilarious. He started Regirock. I started Zorua. He opened. He said pass. I'm like, okay. He didn't even play another Pokemon. He didn't attach an energy. He didn't do anything. He said pass. I draw. I look at my hand. It's terrible. I mallowed for a Bridget, and I passed. And then he draws, and he goes, Buzzwole, Max Elixir, all this stuff. Can't find a Flowstone. He has to pass. And I'm like, yes. So I bridge it, and I get all my stuff. He eventually gets to knock out my Zorua. I have the return knockout with the Mew, and I win that game. I'm like, this is so dumb. I sat there with the Zorua for two turns, and I lived against a Buzzwole deck. And then we ended up playing out a good game 2. He ends up winning that one. And then game 3, we had a little gentleman's nod going into that one, but I think I was actually going to come out ahead on the prizes at the right time. He had it was my turn 1, and there were two prizes left, 2 knockouts available, but he shook the hand, so I'm like, cool. So, really nice player, and we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Final round, played against Glaceon. He was sitting at 20 points. I'm sitting at 21, so I'm in. He's not. He wanted to ID. I didn't know what he was playing. I probably should have ID'd because I didn't want to play against Glaceon.
Yeah.
I just assumed he was like Buzzwole or something. I don't know. There can't be another Glaceon at 20 points, right? So I'm like, I'll give it a shot. We can play. So he's already upset at me. He doesn't want to play this game. He flips over Remoraid. I'm like, sweet. I made the right call. This is going to be great. And then he bridges for 2 EVs and another Remoraid. And I'm like, what? So I didn't even know that this Glaceon deck with Octillery was even a thing, and I didn't know it'd be sitting at 20 points. He's mad at me the whole time. He's very aggressive and like mean and stuff. Like every time he's playing a card, he's slamming it and he's talking a bunch of smack at me. I'm just like, dude, I don't want to be here. I wish I ID'd with you. He beats me the first game. He dead draws the second game. I offer him the ID before we go into game 3, and he was so mad. He said no. He's like, I'm like, dude, I'm just offered you win the cut. Do you want it? And he's no. He's like, listen, man, I'm petty. I don't want that. And I'm just like, all right, fine. It got really aggressive, and we had judges at the table and stuff, and they were offering him like unsportsmanlike. It was bad, and he ended up arguing so much and he didn't get any time extensions because he would do it like periodically, that he ran the clock out, and he had 5 prizes left to get, so I just sat there and draw past. I didn't care, and I got my ID. It was a tie, but I got what I wanted. So sure. I left the table super happy, and he got to talk to Keith for an hour. So I think I came out on top there.
I'd say so. Sounds like it.
So I ended up 4th seed, 22 points. So I'll take that day 1
for sure. Definitely not quite the 1st seed like the previous tournament, but
yeah, not living up to expectation.
But yeah, definitely heading into day 2. Were there any matchups that you were kind of concerned about? Anything you were worried about, or did you feel pretty comfortable against the day 2 field?
I was super excited because I looked at the list and there were 3 wall decks at 22 points. There was like a Hoopa, a Wishy-Washy, and a Sylveon, or something like some combination of the 3.
Yep.
So I was stoked. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get one of these, and we're just gonna run through. And then I get this guy Chip. I'm like, are you kidding me? I gotta play against Chip Richie on stream. So we get to play, and you already know how that one went. That was
we don't have to.
That
talk
was a little
about
ridiculous. Anybody wants to watch the stream? That was we got some VODs up of that. It was ugly.
Yeah.
I got a lot of stuff out really early, and I put on way too much pressure, and Chip just kept prizing all the right stuff for me. So
yeah,
shout out to Chip.
Yeah, I look back, I rewatched the VOD. I'm not sure if you have yet or not, but I in that first game, I honestly don't think me prizing Sudowoodo even mattered, because your turn 2 was literally perfect with double Zork, raw Candy Gallade without having to mallow for it. And you got the 1-up Floatstone to get the turn 2 knockout. There was nothing that was going to stop you that game 1.
Like, sometimes it happens, and I'm just like, thank Tord. Like, I could not do this on my own. I need help.
Yeah.
So I know he's up there looking out for me.
Yeah, none of our games were super eventful. It was either Kyle set up very well and won, Kyle dead drew game 2 and lost very quickly, and then game 3, Kyle set up very well. And I stumbled a little bit at the beginning, and anytime that happens, and you get Gallade up and you get premonitions, and there's just not much I'm going to be able to do. So, made it through that round 10 and got the W. So you're probably feeling pretty nice at that point heading into the 11th round of the day.
Yeah, that was a fresh start. It felt good because especially when we were at St. Louis, I lost the opening round on stream to Alex Hill, and I was like, man, I'm gonna do this again. This is lame. I don't want to. I'm losing to streamers again. It's just mean. So I'm glad that didn't happen. I got the win, and then I'm sitting against my next opponent, and he's like, I shouldn't be here. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And I'm like, wait a second. I saw you day one. You're the guy who's playing the Wishy Walls. And he's playing Hoopa Wobbuffet, not Wishy Washy. He's got the Zerkatrine stuff too. And I'm like, all right, this is a good matchup. We'll run through this in like 10 minutes. I ran through it in 10 minutes. Game 2, we sit down and I prized my Gallade. I still took 4 prizes on Wobbuffets, found my Gallade, and then knocked him out with the Gallade at the end. So, yeah, we had a nice chat during the whole time. Like, he was having fun with it. He kind of knew that matchup's really, really bad for him. As soon as I got the Ralt, he's like, yeah, I thought you were this. And I'm like, you know it. After that, 28 points. I think this is when I got destroyed by Joey.
Okay.
Joey, he was trying to lose. He started Espeon, he started Lele, and he started Espeon. I don't know if it was in that order, but he started all 3 purple guys in all 3 games. Game 1, he scooped in 3 turns, or even less. I think he scooped on the 2nd turn. As soon as I attached to the Zoroark, he quit. Game 2, played a really long game. I took 4 prizes, and then he did Greninja stuff.
Yep.
Game 3, I took 3 prizes. Then he did Greninja stuff.
Yep. And
I don't play the Tina promo because I'm like, if anyone's playing Greninja, they can just have it. And of course, I found a Greninja, so I'm like, oh, that's not cool. So I'm at 28 points. This is when I played against Natalie.
Okay.
Natalie is playing her deck that she got second with. I don't know if she changed any cards either. We had a good game. We had a really good game. The whole match was awesome. Really back and forth. I ended up winning the crucial game. I don't remember if it was 1 or 2. I think it was 1, where she got 2 strong energies on her Buzzwole, and it was like her last big attacker. It was the last hurrah. It's going to be able to do 200 damage to my Gardevoir, and my Gardevoir's already got like 30 on it, so I'm in trouble. So I end her. I'm getting 4 cards. She's getting like 2. I rip Enhance Hammer, Puzzle, and I'm like, holy wow! So I Enhance Hammer that, double Puzzle, and get my hammer back, and I take that off, and then I start going to town, and I ended up making the comeback. I was like, all right, that's pretty sweet. I'm good with that. I think game 2 I get destroyed, and then game 3 I had a really explosive start, and she drew dead after. I think it was like the 3rd or 4th turn. She started drawing pretty poorly, and I was just going off at the end. So I got myself in 1 more win, and I'm in range. My brother's sitting at 33 points, so he just needs to ID. I'm at 31, so I just need those 3 points, and I get paired against my brother. I'm like, okay, cool. He's my brother. He's going to help me out. This is going to be sweet. I'm going to get him to scoop to me, and then he'll just ID the next round, because that makes total sense. There's going to be like 4 33-pointers, and he's going to just ID, and he'll be fine. And he doesn't trust the math. He doesn't believe me. And he's like, no, we're playing. I'm like, I don't like you, dude. So we sit down. I beat him up that first game. Oh, my God, it was so good. I went first. Everything went great. I'm like, you're dumb. You should have given me the win. I'm going to earn it now. I'm going to tell everyone how I beat you. Game 2 and 3, he slaughtered me, and it felt really bad. And I'm like, all right. And then he says, would you like to ID? And I'm like, yes, of course. So he's already in. It doesn't matter. Gets me 1 extra point. So maybe I play against a higher up player who scoops me into cut if they like my deck, or I can at least get more top 16 points. Potentially pushing me into top 16 with that 32 points. I look. There are 3 players that I can get. One is a Sylveon. That is an auto win. One is a Glaceon. That's a really, really hard matchup, and I hate that. I did not want that. And then the last one is Peter and his Bulu deck. And Bulu is actually pretty favorable. I beat it the opening round one on stream against Tristan, but he's not playing the Bridget version. Peter's not playing the Bridget version. He's playing his Kikabulu monstrosity thing. So I'm like, all right, we'll play it out. We'll go on stream. So we played it on stream. Spoiler alert, I won, but yeah, we had a pretty good set. The opening game, I got a pretty aggressive start, and I had a choice turn 3. My hand was just Mallow and Cynthia, and I had one Zoroark, and I could just Mallow right there, go get the double colorless. I blow up this Bulu, and if he has no answer to it, I win. Or I can Cynthia and try to get set up more. I chose to Cynthia. And I got 2 more Zoroarks out, so I get 6 trades. So I saw 12 cards, and I still didn't find the double colorless to knock this thing out. I had to hit it for like 120 or something stupid, and I felt really dumb. And I'm like, if Twitch makes fun of me, I'm gonna cry. But it didn't happen. I ended up coming out on top that game. Game 2, I look at my hand. I started like, you know how the deck has like 5 items that are just like if I have one, I can play it 6 times, like the hammer and the parallel and max potion. It was all 5 of those. It was all the awkward cards that you can't do anything with, but they're cool in some matchups. None of those matchups, except for the Parallel City, are for Bulu. So I don't know what I'm going to do with all these cards. And I started like another basic, and I got a Bridget. I'm like, all right, so the Bridget can at least get me somewhere. He got a really good start. Everything started flowing for him that opening turn. I draw my card, and I didn't like what I saw. It wasn't a Zoroark, so I scooped. I'm like, I'm not playing this game. I'm not going to give you 10 minutes of gameplay and then potentially have a tie, because he's at 33 points. A tie would be great for him. He locks up. I'm at 32. I have to win. So I scooped right there. I'm like, I'm going to get myself 30 minutes of full gameplay against a Bulu, and if I lose, I lose. And then I had the most explosive game of my life. Crazy. It was better than the opening turn against you, which is hard. I went off. I even like Gallade blew up his only Vikavolt, and it was saucy. So really big explosive finish to get into cut. I was so excited. In the interview, I'm just cheesing so hard. And I'm just like, I hope the Sylveon player got in. I hope I don't see Joe. I don't want to run into Ryan or Igor, because they're super good and their deck is not very good for me. And I look at Chris Szymanski. He posted what he thought the results were going to be, and he had me paired up against Igor. And I'm like, one spot away from that is Sylveon. So I really hope he's wrong. And Chris was not wrong.
Never doubt Christopher. Never doubt him.
Yeah, so I look at the top 8 standings. I got Igor. I'm like, if I can get through Igor, Ryan's not going to get through Sylveon. So I'll just beat Sylveon, and then I'm in finals. I'll miss my flight, but who cares? I've got like at least 3 grand locked up, so we're cool. And it started off pretty well. Igor, he drew dead after the opening N, and so I just won in like 4 or 5 turns. And I'm just like, dude, we're going to do this. Let's go. And Game 2, I draw dead, and he wins in 3 turns. And Game 3, we had a really good game. He has 1 max elixir left in his deck, and he's got 2 more, 1 or 2 more basic fighting energy. I didn't know if one was prize. And he had like 15 cards. And off of his supporter for the turn, it wasn't like a Sycamore. I think it was like an N or a Cynthia or something. He found the last max elixir into the last energy to get it on the Rockruff, and I'm like, I know that I lost, because he's gonna just get the knockout here, and next turn it's like in Rock strong energy game, and I couldn't do anything about it. I just played right into it because my hand was energy, Puzzle, and blank, and he had been knocking out my Zoroarks, so I set up. I'm gonna win the next turn if he doesn't have it, but of course he's got it. He's got artillery and stuff too, so he found it and he was able to take me out.
Well,
so that's the run.
Yep. Definitely always feels bad losing in top 8. It feels like the difference between prizing between top 8 and top 4 is just so different. Like when you get to top 4, you get double the money, you get the trophy to take home, more championship points, but you know, top 8 is still an awesome accomplishment, and you know, super big congratulations to you on getting there.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. So what does this put you at championship point wise?
I was at 349, so I think I'm at 449, right?
449.
It's 100 points.
So this locked up your invite to Worlds. Very nice.
Yep. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it.
So when it comes to that decision between commentating for Worlds, which I'm sure they will ask you to do if they haven't already, and playing in Worlds, is that a tough decision for you to make, or do you already kind of know what you want to do?
It's a tough decision for me because in my heart I'm a player and that's what I want to do, but I got a wife, man. So she's like, you're not giving away this. You got to go over there and make some money and get us a hotel room. What are you doing? But I mean, I also really love commentary. I love the people that I work with too, and it's just like if you want to call that work, then that's fine. It's really fun work. So either way, I'm okay with it. I wish there was a way to do both. I've joked around with our coordinator, and I've said, like, listen, just let me play the first 3 rounds and see what happens. Because usually I just 0-3, and then I'll just come right back in. I'll just cast 4, 5, 6, 7, and it'll be fine. I'll just make up my rounds. It's like I took a big long break in the beginning. He didn't say no. So I'm gonna have a chat with DC later and see what he says.
Well, hey, maybe we can make that happen, and you know, maybe you won't have to commentate. You might have a deep run at Worlds, but you know. I think most likely we'll end up seeing you over on the commentary table, which I know you're not going to complain about too much.
Right.
So congratulations, Kyle. Once again, thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening to sit down with me. I do want to ask real quick, if you were to play the tournament again tomorrow, do you think you would change anything about your list?
I would change a field blower. I still don't know what I would change it for, though. Okay. I only played against one Garvador, so usually I just really want to win that matchup, but I've been talking to some people. Isaiah thinks I should play a max potion.
Okay.
Which could have been cool.
Have a 2 max potion.
If I don't know. I feel like maybe if I found an answer for the Mew thing, maybe if I switched a couple of the Ralts to the Fairy ones, I would have had a little more success. But I didn't know about the Mew deck, and it's kind of silly that my brother's the one playing it, and he doesn't tell me this stuff. So I'm going to have a chat with him later. You're going to be talking to him tonight. You let me know why he did me dirty like that. Because he knows what Ralts I'm playing, and he just let me get bodied like that.
I'll have to ask him about that. I'm doing the interview with Ryan directly after this, so we'll have a conversation for you, Kyle. Don't worry. All right, man. Well, I appreciate your time. Like I said, congratulations once again. I'm going to give you a minute here at the end of the video if you want to do any sort of shout-outs, social media plugs, shout-outs for your sponsors, anything like that. Feel free, man. The floor is yours.
Cool. Okay. Well, my Twitter is @Sabelhaus. It is hard because my last name is hard, so Sabelhaus. No house, no stable, no horses. There's nothing weird. Just get it right, guys. Eventually, you'd think after like 12 years that people would get it, and I think they just get it wrong on purpose now. Other than that, I pretty much accept every friend request on Facebook, and if you guys want to talk about anything, hit me up. I've been talking to a lot of people about the deck recently, and it's really cool to see people that don't know me that reach out. Because I just really like talking to everyone. Like, I could talk about Pokemon all day. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Shout out to my sponsor, ARG. I have like the best teammates. I really love my teammates. And Jim, who runs the whole thing, is super cool. They've been awesome. I got to get another sweatshirt, though, because I keep wearing that green one. And I see all these pictures of me wearing that green one. And I'm like, man, I gotta find some different colors, too. So I'm going to talk to Jim about that. And other than that, hopefully I just keep winning so I get to talk to Chip more because this is fun.
Yeah, man. I had a great time tonight, and I hope we get to have another one of these soon. Are you going to be going to Portland this coming weekend?
I will not, but Ryan will be, so okay. Look out for him.
So we might have another Sabelhaus interview next week, but just not with Kyle. But
Yeah.
well, cool, man. Thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed having you on and chatting with you this evening. Guys, definitely make sure you check out all of those links down in the description to Kyle's Twitter and all that stuff, and follow him over there. I do want to ask one more thing before we leave. Old-timey Pokemon players will remember this, but I just got to ask for those out there who may be missing it. Are we going to see the return of the Sable Stream at any point?
Me and Ryan don't live in the same state anymore, so it makes it hard. I want to bring it back, but it really just depends on like how much time I have. So if I can work out a schedule where, because I'm also doing a lot of coaching too, so I go to work from like 8 to 4:30, and then I come home and I'm doing coaching from like 6 to 8, 6 to 9 or something. So I'm always doing something, and I think if I don't have enough time for wife, I'm gonna get in trouble. So I gotta just find a nice slot to. I mean even now Wednesdays I'm doing game night with Pram and stuff, so I gotta find some time to slip it in. Maybe Fridays or something. I'll work in a day or two. Who knows?
You heard it here first, guys. The potential return of the Sable Stream coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely make sure you leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't, and thank you, Kyle, once again for coming on. That is going to do it for us, guys. We are going to get out of here, and until next time, take care.